This is not a video that will teach you something new. You will gain a different perspective and way of thinking about what you have learned and known from this video. I spent 3 days just summarizing, analyzing, and then concluding with things that people are still wondering about and haven't yet understood from a different point of view. You are not missing anything new. You already know you should invest early. You already know you should start before you feel ready. You already know you should build the right people around you. And deep down, you've known these things longer than you want to admit. So here is the uncomfortable part. If knowledge was the answer, you would already be living it. You are not behind because you don't know enough. You are behind for a reason almost no one says out loud. And it's the reason you'll regret long after it's too late to undo. The thing that quietly drains your wealth is not ignorance. It's the gap between knowing and doing. That gap has a name, and your brain built it on purpose. Your mind values the reward in front of you far more than the reward waiting years away. Psychologists call it present bias, hyperbolic discounting. It means the future always loses the argument, every single time. So you wait. You tell yourself, there is still time. And your brain agrees because waiting feels safe right now. But waiting is never free. Every year you delay is a silent loss. Not the kind you see today, the kind you feel much later. In 1979, 2 researchers named Kahneman and Tversky proved something brutal about us. We feel the pain of losing far more than the joy of gaining. So each year you hesitate feels like nothing in the moment, and it quietly costs you everything. That is the real enemy of this entire video. Not the market, not your salary, not your luck. It's the delay, the distance between the moment you know and the moment you move. And those 7 moves you're about to hear, you already know every one of them. The only thing left to decide is whether you make them in time. Before the moves, you need the law that sits underneath every one of them. It's called compounding, and it is the most misunderstood force in your entire financial life. Here is why it fools almost everyone. Compounding looks like nothing at the start. Flat, slow, almost insulting. For years, it feels like you're pouring in effort and getting nothing back. The line barely moves, the numbers barely grow. So most people quit at the exact moment they should have stayed. They walk away right before the curve was about to bend. Look at Warren Buffett. He started investing as a boy, but the vast majority of his fortune arrived after his 50s and 60s, decades after he began. His edge was never a single secret stock. It was time. He simply refused to step out of the game. Now take the simplest example there is. 2 people each invest the same $10,000. One starts 10 years earlier than the other. That single decade, not talent, not luck, can leave the early starter far, far ahead. In many cases, it isn't even close. We are terrible at feeling exponential growth. We see the flat beginning and assume that's the whole story. It isn't. The math keeps moving whether you participate or not. And this one principle is about to dismantle the most common excuse for delay, starting with the very first move. This is where Machiavelli becomes important. 500 years ago, he watched powerful men climb to the top and watched them collapse just as fast. And he noticed something everyone else missed. Luck explained almost none of it. In The Prince, he divided the world into 2 forces: fortuna, pure chance, and virtù, the skill and the nerve to act when chance appears. Fortuna only opens the door. Virtù is what walks through it. He compared fortune to a flooding river. When it rises, it tears through everything in its path: the fields, the homes, the unprepared. But the wise man does something different. He studies the river while it's calm. He builds his banks and his barriers long before the water ever comes. The flood still arrives. He simply isn't destroyed by it. Centuries later, this same idea became Law 35 Master, the art of timing. And here is what almost everyone gets wrong about timing. Timing is not waiting for the perfect moment. Timing is being ready before the moment ever arrives. The opportunity rewards the one who prepared in the quiet. And that is exactly what the next 7 moves are built to do. Move 1. Invest before you feel ready. So when, exactly, will you feel ready? Be honest with yourself. There is no magic amount of money, no final level of confidence where the fear simply switches off. Readiness is an illusion. It's a finish line that keeps moving the closer you get. And while you stand there waiting for it, something is happening quietly in the background. Inflation is eating the money sitting still in your account. Idle money is not safe money. It's shrinking money. Every month you wait to begin, the cash you're protecting is worth a little less than before. In 1994, Jeff Bezos faced this exact fear. He was about to leave a secure, high-paying job for something uncertain, so he used what he called the regret minimization framework. He pictured himself at 80 years old and asked which choice he would regret more. The regret of trying and failing was small. The regret of never trying at all was unbearable. That single question made the decision obvious. You don't invest when you feel ready. You invest, and readiness follows. Move 2. Build the skill before you need the income. There are only 2 ways to learn something valuable. You can learn it calmly while you still have time, stability, and a paycheck. Or you can learn it in a panic after the money has already run out. Same skill, 2 completely different lives. Learning under pressure keeps you breathing. Learning ahead of time makes you dangerous. When you build a skill before you need it, you choose your direction. You experiment, you go deep, you make mistakes that don't cost you everything. When you build it in desperation, you grab whatever pays fastest. There's no room to think, no room to aim. One path buys you a single meal, the other path buys you leverage for life. And just like money, skill compounds. The abilities you build today quietly stack on top of each other for years. The person who started learning in peace is always miles ahead of the one who started in fear. So build it now, while no one is forcing your hand. Move 3. Start the business before the perfect idea arrives. Almost every company you admire began as something clumsy, ugly, and a little embarrassing. The polished version you see today did not exist on day 1. It was built, broken, and rebuilt over and over. The perfect idea is a myth. Winning businesses are not born perfect. They evolve. And evolution needs one thing you cannot fake or skip: repetitions over time. The idea in your head compounds nothing. The idea in the market compounds everything. Every month, you protect your idea. Instead of testing it, you lose data you can never get back. Now you might be picturing someone who started late and still won big. They exist. That's genuinely true, but the exception does not erase the odds. For every late winner, the years of trial and failure still had to happen somewhere. They didn't skip the repetitions. They just survived long enough to finish them. And here is the trap hidden inside that thought. You don't really admire those late winners. You use them. You use them as permission to wait a little longer, as proof that starting late turned out fine. But look at what you're actually doing. You're betting your one life on being the rare exception instead of the predictable rule. The exception is not your role model. It's your excuse. So, you don't wait for the perfect idea. You start and let the idea become perfect in your hands. Move 4. Build the network before you need it. Think about the last time someone reached out to you, but only because they wanted something. You felt it instantly, didn't you? The message was friendly, but the favor underneath it had a smell. That is exactly what desperate networking looks like from the other side, and everyone can sense it. Relationships built in a rush always feel like transactions, because that's what they are. Real influence is built the opposite way, slowly, quietly, long before you ever need to use it. Psychologists call it reciprocity and social proof. When you give value early with nothing asked in return, trust starts to accumulate. And trust, like everything else here, compounds. You nurture connections today and expect nothing back. Years from now, they become the doors that open. Accumulated trust opens doors that money cannot even knock on. You don't build your network when you need it. By the time you need it, it's already too late to start. Move 5. Negotiate every time on every amount. That first number you accept does something invisible. It quietly anchors everything that comes after it. Psychologists call it anchoring. The first figure on the table sets the ceiling for every raise, every offer, every deal you make from that point on. Accept a low starting salary, and you don't just lose a little money today. You lose the compounded growth on that gap stretched across your entire career. A small difference at the beginning becomes an enormous difference at the end. And remember, loss aversion from the start of this video. This is where it cuts the deepest. The money you never negotiated for is money you will never feel was missing until you realize it's gone for good. Most people stay silent because asking feels uncomfortable for 10 seconds. That 10 seconds of comfort can cost you years of income. You don't negotiate to seem difficult. You negotiate because the first number writes all the rest. Move 6. Build the levee before the water rises. Disaster does not wait politely until you're wealthy enough to survive it. The layoff, the emergency, the crash. They arrive entirely on their own schedule. And when they hit a life with no protection, they don't just take your money. They erase years of progress in a single blow. Here is the part most people miss. The real loss is never just the cash. It's the compounding years that now will never happen. The growth that got wiped out before it could begin. This is Machiavelli's flood, made real. Fortuna rises without permission and without warning, building your defenses while life is calm. Your savings, your insurance, your margin that is virtue in action. It feels boring. It feels unnecessary. Right up until the day, it's the only thing keeping you standing. You don't build the levee during the storm. You build it while the sky is still clear. Move 7. Rewrite your relationship with money before your income peaks. Every one of us learned about money as a child, long before we had any words for it. Maybe it was scarcity, maybe anxiety, maybe shame at the dinner table when the bills came. Those early lessons never really leave. They run silently behind every financial choice you make as an adult. You think you're making rational decisions. You're not. You're often obeying a script written before you could even count. The child raised around scarcity, hoards and freezes when it's finally time to invest. The child raised around shame, overspends, chasing a feeling money was never built to buy. Same money, opposite wounds, both quietly steering the wheel. And here is the brutal part. These patterns do not dissolve when you start earning more. They get louder. More money does not quiet an old fear. It hands that fear a bigger budget. The most dangerous moment of your financial life is simple. It's when you finally hold the largest sum you've ever had, steered by the fears of a frightened child. That's how people earn a fortune and still destroy it. More income will never fix a broken relationship with money. It only raises the stakes on the damage. You don't fix this after you get rich. You fix it before the money arrives to expose it. So why, knowing all 7 of these, do most people still stand completely still? Because standing still is the brain's factory setting. In 1988, researchers Samuelson and Zeckhauser gave it a name: status quo bias. Doing nothing almost always feels safer than doing something, even when doing nothing is the most expensive choice on the table. This is the waiting room, and it holds you there with 2 specific traps. The first trap is the conditional license. You tell yourself, I'll start when I have more money, when I have more time, when I finally feel certain. But that condition almost never arrives on its own. The truth is reversed. Action is what creates the condition, not the other way around. The second trap is the arrival fallacy. Psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar named this one. It's the quiet belief that some future version of you will find all of this easier, calmer, more prepared. That version never shows up. They only inherit a heavier load than you carry right now. So here is one question that cuts straight through both traps. If your preparation is not producing real skill, real data, or a real result, then it is not preparation. It's delay, wearing a costume. Which brings us to the hardest truth in this entire video. Some doors do not stay open. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar marched his army to the edge of a small river, the Rubicon. To cross it meant war, and there would be no taking it back. He crossed, and the instant he did, the door behind him sealed shut forever. Machiavelli had a single word for a moment like that. Occasion. The opening. The window that appears for a brief time and then is gone. Now look back at all 7 moves through that lens. The decade to start compounding, the calm years to build a skill, the relationships formed long before you needed them, the defenses built under a clear sky. Every one of them has a window. Every one of them is a Rubicon of its own. And here is what no one warns you about. Every window you refuse to cross does not stay and wait for you. It closes quietly, permanently, without ever telling you it's gone. So, let's go back to the beginning. This was never really about 7 financial moves. You already knew all 7. You knew them before you clicked. You've known most of them for years. The moves were never the problem. The problem was always the gap, the distance between the moment you know and the moment you finally move. So, if it isn't the moves, what actually separates the people who build wealth from the people who only understand it? It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not a secret the rich are hiding. It's a date. The exact day when intention finally became action. That is the real dividing line. Not what you know, not what you plan. The day you stopped waiting and started. And here is the part that should sting a little. That date can still be today, but it can never be made earlier than today. Every day you wait, the earliest possible start moves one more day out of reach. The best time is already behind you. The second best time is right now. Now, let me be honest with you, because most videos won't be. Some people watching this are facing real constraints, real responsibilities, real walls that don't move just because they decided to try. That is true, and pretending otherwise would be a lie. But here is the line that costs people everything. There is a difference between hard and impossible. Hard means the door is heavy. Impossible means there is no door. And most people quietly label things impossible when they were only ever hard. The expensive mistake is not failing at the hard thing. It's calling it impossible so you never have to try. So look honestly at your own life. Separate the walls that are real from the walls you built to feel safe. One of those you have to accept. The other you have to cross. Because the window does not care about your reasons. Occasions do not wait. So, here is your move. Decide which one you are. The person who watched this, nodded, and changed nothing. Or the person who marks today as the date. Most people will watch this and move on. A few will stay and become someone new. If you're one of the few, then subscribe. Because everything here is built to sharpen how you think about money, power, and time. No noise, no fluff, just strategy. And what you heard today was only the surface. Beneath these 7 moves are deeper layers, the ones Machiavelli understood about power that most people never dare to face. That's where we go next. 7 moves. Known by most, made on time by few. Which one are you?